Dear friends, we have gathered here just to find out some way which we have been after so long, way leading to any earthly place, no, but a way back to God. Is there a God? They say there was one leader of the atheists. He was going to die. And in his room he has written, God is nowhere. A child came up, he began to just read that lines that were written on the wall. He read, G-O-D, God, I-S is, N-O-W now, H-E-R-E here. God is now here. And the dying man said, yes, God is now here. All through life he was preaching there is no God anywhere. But the 11th hour he felt there is some power that is controlling all the universe. Well, what is the use of coming to sense at the 11th hour? So last time when I came here, there's some talk with the scientists. I asked them, that have you been able to create an ounce of consciousness? They said no. They have been able to create atomic power in so many ways of the energy, but they have not been able to create an ounce of consciousness. 100 fools, if put together, cannot make a wise man. Then he asked him whether you have analyzed atom. They said yes. Then he asked him, what did you find therein? He said, there is a movement going on within that atom. So on being asked whether it was haphazard or well controlled, he says very much controlled and very much rhythmic. So I asked him what it is that keeps that movement even in the atom under control. That is the power which is controlling all universe. Come round to your own self. We are all man, and you will find this man body is a wonderful house that we have got, in which there are so many apertures, 2 of the eyes, 2 of the ears, 2 of the nostrils, mouth, another genital organ. But we cannot run away out of it. Breathing goes out, some power is bringing it back into the body. Operations are performed of the belly, which lasts sometimes for hours. The whole body is cut, belly is cut, but we cannot still run away out of it. There is some power which is keeping us in the body. So our body works so long as we are in the body, and we are in the body so long as some power is keeping us in the body. That power when withdrawn, we have to leave the body, and body dust thou art and unto dust returneth. That very power which is keeping us in the body, that very power is controlling all the universe. So long as that power is controlling the universe is going on. When that power is withdrawn from there, dissolution and grand dissolution sets in. So that is the power which is controlling all universe. That we have to know in the man body. Man body is considered to be the highest in all creation. All masters spoke about the greatness of man. So we are fortunate, we have got the man body, which even the angels envy to have it. Because in the man body, we have the birthright to know God and no other body. So for that purpose of knowing God, we join various schools of thought, which are called religions. Religions were made for the higher purpose of moral and spiritual uplift, to find a way back to God. So we are, for that purpose, we have joined various schools of thought. We have been therein for years by now. We have to see whether we have found the way back to God. Yes, please. Does my voice reach you at the back, please? Those who are sitting at the back? Now the question arises, what do the masters say about it? They bear testimony that there is a God, there is a reality, which is the cause of all creation. Christ was asked whether there was a God. And what did he say? He said, behold the Lord. He did not give any reason for that. He saw God and gave out, behold the Lord, it is there already. Guru Nanak was asked the same question, whether there was a God. He said, yes, there is a God which I see everywhere. There is no place where God is not. He says, I see him everywhere. Kabir was asked the same question. He said, I have seen him in every atom working. Similarly, all other masters who came, they said there is a reality. Others said we have our being living in that great ocean of life, like a fish in the ocean. So they did experience that thing and they gave out. Because who sees, he can make others see too. The world over you'll find they just say that they know God, but really they know it not. They simply have feelings which are our own make. Sometimes from feeling we arise into emotions. That is also the result of our feelings. Some others simply arrive at some conclusion by intellectual wrestling. That is coming to some conclusion to find there is some power, but not seeing. Seeing is above all. So feelings, emotions and inferences, they are all subject to error. Seeing is above all. I met one old sadhu of over 80 years old. He came to me, inquired of me whether there was a God. I asked him, you have been after this for how many years? He says, I have been after it from very childhood. I left the world. I am having a life, a very secluded life, like a recluse. Then I asked him to what conclusion you have come to. He said, truly speaking, I have had no experience of God. He is a plain-speaking man. He did not deceive himself. He said, yes, I went to someone. He said, look here, here is a watch. There is some maker of this watch. Similarly, this great organism of the universe, there must be somebody, as a matter of inference. So I tell you, seeing is above all. And when we come to the masters, they bear testimony that there is a God. Now question arises, what we find in the scriptures. Scriptures give us two kind of statements. One is, nobody has seen God at any time. And then also we find the statements as I quoted you, behold the Lord, I see God everywhere, in every atom, there is no place where God is not. Swami Vivekananda, who came to America many years back, he was an atheist before. He was challenging one and all to show him any man who has seen God. He was led to one person which is called by Ramakrishna Paramahansa. He was a man of realization. Mind that it is these masters only who bear testimony that there is a God and they have seen it. And they are also competent to let others know, see. Son knows the Father and others whom the Son reveals. He went to him, masters don't act in pose. They live in a very simple way. He was just having a cloth round his loins and a shirt on, wearing, bareheaded, he was walking there. Somebody told him, here's the master who has seen God. He went and put a very blunt question, Master, have you seen God? He said, yes, my child, I see him just as I see you, and even more clearly than that. So all I am putting up this thing to you, that there is a God, and masters bear testimony to it, that they have seen God. For this very purpose, we have joined the various religions as the social bodies of religions. They are our schools of thought. And in all religions you will find the masters have come. And they knew the truth. What they saw, they made others see, help others to see. And their teachings or experiences, what they had with God, and with knowing themselves, form part of the scriptures today with us. We are fortunate within this 20th century, we have got all scriptures of the masters who came in the past. Had we come before them, before any of them, their scripture would not have been with us, which are the words of wisdom, worth in tons of gold and emeralds for those who are seeking. So all masters tell us that this question is no new question. Ever since the world began, this question of God has been with us. And from time to time masters have been coming and gave testimony that there is a God and made others see, have a contact with God. But ever since they came, you see, they have been coming from time to time. They did all their best to describe God, but would they say they have not been able to describe God fully. He still remained as unsaid as ever. They all said there is one truth, one reality at the back of all creation, which is the cause thereof. Any differences in the religions are due to the fact that they had not seen God. Who saw God, all masters are parallel thoughts, you see. Of course, they gave out in their own language, in their own way of expression. But they all say there is a God, there is a reality. They have an experience of that God. Now both these statements you will find apparently differ from the other. Nobody has seen God at any time. They say they have seen it. And they bear testimony to it. Both statements are correct. They are given from different levels. First statement is given from the level when the God did not come into expression. The absolute God, the worldless state of God. And the other statement is when God came into expression. When it came into expression, that is called Word. All heavens were made by the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and Word was with God, and Word was God. And everything came into being after that. So, both statements are correct. And that God resides, one man stands up. He says, my viewpoint is like that. When some hundreds sit around him, they follow him. Here's a new school of thought there. Another says, my viewpoint is like that. Another school of thought is there. Similarly, we have got now many schools of thought, one differing from the other little, but the whole fact remains. It is just like to explain that there was an elephant. Some blind men passed by. So blind men began to just find out what can an elephant be like. Somebody's hand fell on his belly. They say it is barrel-like. The other's hand fell on the legs, though it is pillar-like. And the third man's hand fell on his ears. He said it is fan-like. Everybody was confident that I have known elephant. But they have known only one aspect of the elephant, not all of them. They are fighting in their own zealousness. We know God. We know the elephant. And a man came by who had eyes. He said, well, dear friend, don't fight. What you say, it is correct, but it is only giving you some part of it. So all masters who came in the past, who had seen God, had the experience of God, they say the same thing. What do they say? God is light. I don't think any master differs from there. God wanted the world to come into being and there was light. So God is light. God is life, consciousness, and God is love. Of course, they say so in their own language. The Mohammedan saints say God is Noor. And in the East, Hindu says God is Jyoti. That means the same thing. All other masters you see, well, what does the Zoroaster says? Or Pythagoras says? Pythagoras says truth clothed in light. And Zoroaster's followers keep fire burning in their chapels and their churches. Fire which is unstuck fire. I am quoting all these things to show that masters who came, who had experience of God, they say the same thing. So somebody went to Guru Nanak and asked him, well, you say there is a God, and with what eyes we can see him? And he told them, well, look here, those eyes are different other than these eyes of flesh and bones. There is an eye. This very question was put to Christ in St. Matthew, you find. It is better for thee to enter into life with one eye rather than having two eyes to be cast into hellfire. You got two eyes. Unless it becomes one eye, single eye, we cannot see the light of God. The light of the body is the eye. When thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. That's very clear proof, statement, no difference. And Mohammedan saints also say the same thing, all others say the same thing. So God is light. When can we see that light? When our eye becomes single. How the two eyes become single, it is a practical question. In the East, they tell us God is seen when the third eye is opened. Single eye or the third eye or the latent eye. Lord Krishna says you cannot see God except you have got that latent eye opened. Similarly, some call it as Shiv Netra. So these are statements to show that we can see God within this man body, because body is the true temple of God. So there are scriptures to show, to bear testament to that. But that God is indefinable, cannot be known by the outgoing faculties or by the intellect or by the vital ears. He can be seen only by our own self. We are conscious entities. In the Second World Fellowship of Religion Conference held at Calcutta in 1960, so there were delegates, over 250 from all religions and other countries. Last day the resolution was to be passed. In the resolution there was a word of God, you see. One part of the Buddhists told us, we do not agree with this resolution because you have put in the name of God there and we do not believe in God. So even if one religion does not believe in anything, the resolution cannot be of the World Fellowship of all religions. So I just met their head and told them, do you believe, do you accept the sayings of Lord Buddha? Well, I quoted from his scriptures, self finds refuge in the self. What other refuge can there be? But unless we have control of our own self, it is hard to gain. I told him what is that self which you have to control, and we can see the overself. That overself is known by the word God. They came round and the resolution passed with the word God therein. So my point is there that there is a God. Masters bear testimony to that. This question was put to Christ. He said, some people told him, well, you always mention about your father. It would have sufficed if you would have shown your father to us. He grew indignant over it and said, alas, I have been so long amidst you, you did not find that Father was working through me. So then he went further so far to say that who has seen me has seen my Father. So these are the testimonies. Guru Nanak was asked whether there is a God. He says, when I don't speak of my own self at the level of the intellect, but as God inspires me, I am the mouthpiece of God. So what are masters, are saints? In true sense of the word, they are the mouthpiece of God. They speak as inspired by God. Of course, those words appear to be coming out through the gullet of a physical man, but those are the words of God coming through him. So there is a God, definitely all masters say, and that God can be realized in earthly life in the man body alone. And how and where, that the question arises. With what eyes, that we are already put before you. That's the single eye, or the third eye, or the latent eye, or the Shivaneta, which is a unique man. Christ told his disciples, "Blessed are you who see things that the old prophets and the righteous men could not see. Blessed you are, you hear things what the old prophets and the righteous men could not hear." So there is something to be seen and something to be heard. What is to be seen? The God into expression power. When he wanted world to be into being, there was light. So God is light. And there is voice of God, the music of the spheres. You find in the Revelations, they are mentioned they heard the sound of the thunders, strong thunders, and they heard the harpers playing on harps. So these are some of the references we have in our scriptures. Hindu scriptures tell us, well, what? God is Shruti. Shruti means sound principle. And Muhammadan says God is Noor and God is Kalam-e-Kareem, the old voice coming down from the heavens to call us back to Him. Also, you'll find Pythagoras says it is music of all harmonies. Plato referred to it, music of the spheres. And you'll find Socrates referred to it, and he said he heard within him a peculiar sound which pulled him irresistibly into higher spiritual regions. And Zoroaster, he also referred to it as Shrosha. Buddha, who was considered to be the atheist, he also refers to it, as I quoted you before, and he also refers to the sound principle. Toward the end of his life, he called for his old disciples and asked them, how did you attain the golden samadhi? Everybody gave his own experience, and last of all he summed up, well, hear ye all, the coming generations, that hearing is the only way back to golden samadhi. So I am quoting all these things to you to show that all masters who saw God, who heard God, he learned about Moses, he heard the commandments amidst light and strong thunder. These are all references we find in our own scriptures. But for want of practical people who have got this experience, we are being addicted to atheism. For that purpose we have joined the various schools of thought or the religions, the social bodies of the religions. In all religions, as I told you, masters have been coming, and we find these very references in the scriptures. But for want of practical people who have had no first-hand experience of the truth, they do not refer to it at all. What do they say? Well, that is only intellectual light. Well, all masters say God is light, and that can be seen. So, blessed is all, wherever you are, in whatever religion you are, there is no need of changing the religions. Remain there. You have taken the first step of that. And what is that first step? Every school of thought has its own outer badges, their own scriptures, their own modes of saying prayers, their own modes of performing rites and rituals. This is one aspect, the outer aspect. Now, badges only go to differentiate to what particular class or college we are reading, that's all. That's like codes of the various colleges or badges of the colleges. About the scriptures I told you just now, through them past masters are speaking, through them. They are a fine record of the experiences what the masters had in their lives with God, what things helped them on the way and what things stood in the way. By reading them, we find we develop in us a hunger for having the same experiences that they had in their lives. About this mode of saying of prayers and performing rites and rituals, they are meant for the preparation of the ground. What is a true prayer? Prayer is the outburst of the heart. You've got so many specimens, forms of prayer in our scriptures. Those are only given to you. Such like prayer should come out of your heart. When you say prayer, let your heart be full of love and your eyes trickle down some tears in a sweet remembrance. So also we perform rites and rituals that is only meant for developing love and devotion in us. But what we do, we simply do it only like a gymnastic. Excuse me if I use that word. That when you are sitting in the presence of God and praying to Him, considering Him to be competent person to help us, just lead us to His own self, and that of devotion, you see, you must shed some tears. Such a prayer is heard. You see. And similarly, by performing others. This is the first step. They are good actions. If we do them in an honest way, that prepare the ground for knowing God. But for knowing God, we have to do something else too. That is, who has to know God? As I told you before, God cannot be known by the outgoing faculties. God cannot be known by the intellect, because that is indefinable. It is not a matter of writing and reading, but of actual seeing. Secrets of transcendence cannot be uttered. Who knoweth doth not say, because that cannot be expressed in words. And those who say it, they doth not know. For instance, take the example, you feel love for somebody. Can you explain the word love? That you can feel. Similarly, there is one television show, I was just invited to come out there, and there were some different heads of the religions there. One was the Jew, the other of one was Jew, one was I am activity, one was bishop, one was the head of editor of a paper, and one more of other religion. They sent for me and they sat down without my knowledge. Well, they say I would like to have certain questions, and the television is going on. All right, you're most welcome, sit down, we will just talk over. And they put questions certain about everything. So the replies were given. And the last question which the bishop put to me, what is the proof that we have seen God? And I told him then and there, if you have got pain in your stomach, how do you know that you have got your pain? That is master of seeing, experiences. Master says they have seen God and they have seen light. And they have seen light, they are competent to let others see light. Open that eye with which he can be seen. So generally you find in these scriptures, the masters give eyes. Well, there is an eye, this is third eye, or the single eye, or the latent eye, within each man. Even in a man who has got no eyes on the face, that inner eye is sealed. Truly, in the terminology of the masters, who is a blind man? Not the one who has got no eyes on his forehead, but the one whose inner eye is not opened. Who is a true deaf man, whose inner ear is not opened. And you'll find in scriptures it is there that our eyes and ears are sealed. They have the competency to break those seals, and we begin to see light and begin to hear voice of God. When you come to Him, we are blind, in that sense of the word, and we are deaf. When the Master gives a sitting, he gives us experience of the opening the inner eye, we see the light of God, and when we return, we are man with eyes. When we go to Him, we are deaf. But when they break the seals on the ears, we begin to hear the music of the spheres. When we come back, we are man with ears.